he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, it's Franky. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the think tank. So it is looking like we got a verdict. 12:45 is what I'm hearing. So let's see here. What are you guys expecting? I don't know. I'm leaning towards guilty straight across the board is where I'm kind of leading. What on earth took them this long? I'm joking. I'm very pleased with how fast this went over. I think it's a positive move. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is maybe we'll just take a look at what have we got here? Let's take a look. I'm stoked. I want to see. Not really. Okay, let's check this out. Hey, Dar. Hey, Maxie. I am so excited. Oh, my God. So let's see what's going on here. See what they're chit-chatting about. Okay.
Hey ladies, we are giving out free Dove samples. Just fill out our quick 2-minute survey.
We are at the eve of closing arguments in the Lori Vallow murder trial, a little more than 3 years after her first arrest.
The so-called doomsday mom accused of killing her 2 kids who once lived in Arizona and conspiring with her husband to murder his first wife. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum joins us live from Boise tonight. Justin, this is big, and we're on the verge of a big, big decision in the next few days.
Exactly, John, Christina. And today the court went over jury instructions with the prosecution and defense, really going over some of the wording and language in the roadmap for jury deliberations when the time comes. But for now, we are all waiting for closing arguments tomorrow and ultimately the verdict in this trial. Will the jury find Lori Vallow guilty of several charges against her, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of murder conspiracy, along with grand theft? Remember, the state rested its case yesterday after calling 60 different witnesses through nearly 5 weeks of testimony. Law enforcement from the FBI, Idaho, Hawaii, and of course, Arizona testified throughout this trial. We heard from Vallow's oldest son, her sister, her former sister-in-law, and her former close friends. They all took the stand. We saw cell phone evidence, DNA evidence, very graphic evidence, and some emotional Bombshell recordings were heard throughout this trial. Vallow is accused of using her religious beliefs to justify the murders of her two kids, JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan. She's also accused of conspiring in the death of Tammy Daybell, the wife of nearly 30 years to Chad Daybell, the man Vallow was in an affair with back in 2019 before marrying him just weeks after Tammy's death. The surprise yesterday was not that Vallow chose not to testify, but that her defense did not call one witness to the stand and did not cross-examine anyone at all. Her defense said it does not believe the state proved its case. And remember, back in opening statements, prosecutors said this case is all about money, power, and sex. We will see if the jury believes that these motives for Vallow have been proven. Now, earlier today, I sat down with Tammy Daybell's aunt and cousin. They are speaking publicly for the first time as they hope Lori Vallow is convicted on all counts.
It'll give us some relief, some, like I said, I don't think it's justice, because how do you pour out justice? I think we'll be able to talk about her and start talking about a little more about how she lived and less about she died.
I feel a mix of emotions that were even there because of what's happened, but just praying honestly that it ends up that the jury can see through everything.
And I do want to mention that both of these relatives actually live in the East Valley, traveling up to Idaho from Arizona for the remainder of this trial. Tammy's cousin actually got a little bit close to Lori Vallow because they met when they both attended the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the East Valley, and even her daughter spent some time with Tylee Ryan when they were both teens. So there's some emotional impact on different layers with this family.
Okay. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to put on just a couple different things while we're waiting.
It's behind Chad's house.
In your investigation, was there anything significant about that discoloration you spoke about earlier?
That was in the immediate area where we found Tylee.
Now, that same image was shown in our story from June 23rd of 2020. Here's a look at that report from KSL investigator and Cold podcast host Dave Colley.
As busy as life can sometimes seem here on Earth, there's a whole lot more traffic you can't see up in the sky. At any given time, about 5,000 satellites are circling.
Okay. Let's see what else we can find here. I'm surprised there's not a lot out quite yet. Let's see, let's go here. Maybe not. Okay, not a big deal. Let's take a peek. East Idaho News has been on the ball. So we're looking at about 20 minutes. This is amazing. Okay. I'm just looking around, see if I can get anything in the courtroom yet. Okay. Oh, this is exciting. Okay. Come on, guys. Come on. 14 hours ago, 15 hours ago. You'd think that there would be all sorts of things happening. This is awesome. Just before Mother's Day, too. I can't think of a better time. And let's just hope. All over the place. Guilty. I hope we're done listening to the racy conversations these two are having. I was talking to Mexi earlier, and they really are kind of nauseating once you want to barf in your mouth. Let's see what these guys have to say. Okay. So what do you think is going to happen with the Tammy Daybell charge? I'm pretty interested to find out about that one, to be honest with you. Okay. Jury in Lori Vallow's murder trial has reached a verdict after deliberating whether cult mom unalived her 2 children for nearly 7 hours. So really, it was not long. Okay, I think I will pop over here. Hey, Jess, nice to see you, friend. Hi, Mind of Monsters. Good to see you. Oh, I agree. I couldn't agree more. Oh, hello. I was trying to get this. I hope it's guilty on all counts. Absolutely, friend. Wow. I'm all set up. Just going to wait for somebody to start up and I'll hook on. Beyond exciting. Come on. Oh, barf. Okay, I think what I'll do is grab on here. Okay, I'm good to go. So where did I? Oh, I know where that was. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Okay. This is, I think, something we should look at. So this is JJ's grandpa showing up.
Well, good morning, y'all. I see everybody is here, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I hear there's some 4 o'clockers here.
Larry, can we turn you around this way?
Sure,
so right
we
over
can.
here. There
Absolutely.
you go. Thank you very much.
Let me go up a little front.
Test, test, test.
Well, first lights. One part is over. They say all.
As much as I want to listen to that, I don't want to get copyright struck. So I will.
And I see everybody is here this morning. Thank y'all once again. Y'all been so diligent. Y'all have absolutely worked your butts off. And I'm thankful for that. The media's thankful for that. And so many wonderful people around the world are depending on y'all to keep it up. Today is day 2 of deliberation. I think we'll have a verdict today. I was a bit disappointed we didn't have a verdict yesterday. We understand it. And if we don't get a verdict today, hopefully we'll get one tomorrow. But we know we'll get a just verdict, a righteous verdict. And that's all we have ever asked for in this. So, thank y'all once again. I'll take a question or two if you got one.
How you feeling?
I feel wonderful. I do.
What's your song there, Larry?
Got up this morning listening to Willie. How can you start to have a bad day? Waking up, listening to Willie. That is JJ and I song. We sang that. And if everybody will remember, look back at the bus when I walked on and JJ was playing the microphone. That was the song we sang together. And it may have been one of the, no, it wasn't the last song. We sang other songs. That's the one you remember the most. So.
Larry, how do you keep such a positive attitude, Larry?
Thank you, sir.
How do you keep such a positive attitude, sir, about this whole situation?
Why did you not want to have a positive attitude? Look at it. It's gorgeous. There's not a cloud in the sky. And we woke up, thank God. And I absolutely, you cannot wake up with a positive attitude. But
What's your song of the day?
Turn out the lights. The party's over. Lori. So, any other questions?
What's the lyric of that song?
That song was one of the songs that JJ and I sang a lot of times when he was riding with me. And amongst other things, I couldn't sing all the songs that he knew because they were hard rock songs. But I knew this one, so I'd sing it with him.
Going back to yesterday, what was it like to sit through closing argument?
You know, I think it was peaceful, believe it or not, because I think we finally knew that it was coming to some finality. And I'm so grateful for the jurors, thankful for the court, and I hope they come back with a righteous verdict. But yesterday was a good day. It was a sad day for a while there to review all of that. But it 4 kids, I don't think there's much good surprise in this case. I just thank God we're here. Day 2 of deliberation. My God, what a wonderful day. Anybody else?
We hope the last day of deliberations.
You know, I feel like it will be the last day of deliberation. But I'll honestly say that if it takes another day, it won't be an issue. And I'm happy to be here every day. And I just feel like we'll get a good verdict. And last night, somebody rewarded this to me. And I just thank everybody. I'm not the world's greatest golfer, but I'll tell you what, I hope I was the world's. I hope I was the world's. That's my phone, JJ. Miley. Thank y'all every day. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Making. And of course, I wanted to continue to showcase the very latest. I do want to show you Justin Lum from Fox 10 Phoenix, who of course has been on this story from the beginning. His report from last night really sets us up for what we expect today.
Turn Friday morning to continue deliberations, but Thursday afternoon, 7 men and 5 women finally got a crack at the case. But first, the prosecution and defense gave closing arguments in the Lori Vallow trial. The prosecution's closing arguments started similar to what we heard in opening statements. The motives of this case are money, power, and sex. Lead prosecutor Rob Wood said Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell's affair set off events leading to 3 murders, the murders of JJ Vallow, Tylee Ryan, and Tammy Daybell. The prosecution said Vallow was a leader and had a plan. Wood told the jury Vallow, Daybell, and her late brother Alex Cox could not kill the kids in Arizona where they had family and friends, so she moved them from Chandler to Rexburg, Idaho, and continued to collect her children's Social Security benefits after they were murdered. Wood said this case isn't all about religion, despite what we've heard so far about preparing for the end of the world, seeing dark spirits, and zombies. The prosecution says the issue is Vallow used her beliefs to justify murder. Vallow's attorney Jim Archibald pinned the crimes on her husband and alleged co-conspirator Chad Daybell. The defense didn't call one witness in this trial and painted Vallow as the victim. Archibald got emotional at times and said Vallow looked to Daybell as if he was Jesus, blaming him for her remarkable change. The defense said there is no proof that Vallow killed any of the victims. Here's part of closing arguments. Listen to Vallow's attorney, who says she fell for Daybell's lies, and then the prosecution's rebuttal.
So this great and wonderful cause of saving the world, getting ready for Jesus to come, we need to gather up the 144,000. And in 1 year, we got 6. Chad got 6. Lori got 0. So, again, doing some simple math, Chad has 143,994 people left to gather before Jesus comes.
Lori would tell her friends that nothing she did in this life counted for her. She could do whatever she wanted. Nothing in this life counted for her. And she made a little motion she did. She'd go, doesn't count for me. Make it count for her. Make it count for Lori Vallow.
And I will tell you, after the lunch break, before the state gave its rebuttal, Vallow did seem upset. She had her back turned to the entire gallery and was talking passionately to her attorneys. Meanwhile, we will keep you updated on when a verdict is finally reached. In Boise, Justin Lum, Fox 10 News.
All right, and of course, that was Justin Lum from Fox 10 Phoenix, always doing such a great job reporting on this trial here. That was his update from yesterday, and now we know that the verdict is in on this story. And of course, we will be bringing it to you from inside of the courthouse here, coming up in just moments right here on Live Now from Fox. All right, it looks like we have worked out the audio issue with defense attorney Ben Taylor. Always a great job right here on Live Now from Fox. Thanks again for
lawyers are back inside the courtroom. Lori Vallow is not there yet, but it appears like people are starting to crowd inside. And then once the judge gets in, he'll call the jury in, and then we'll hear the verdict. Again, it's supposed to happen in about 3 minutes. It will be on video, so we'll be able to show you live on News Nation when the verdict is happening. That we were kind of surprised by that, because throughout the trial, you'll remember they haven't allowed cameras inside the courtroom, but the judge, after the media requested it, did say that a camera will be allowed in to live stream during the verdict. So we will have the verdict live here in a couple of minutes, Kelly. It's been an emotional 5 weeks, really just twisted and deranged testimony about what went on here. Lori Vallow accused of killing her 2 kids, JJ and Tylee, and her husband's late wife, Tammy, believing that her children were zombies as part of this religious cult that she was a part of, that her husband Chad was the leader of. She believed her husband was Jesus, and it was just awful. But you see the video here, the way JJ and Tylee were found. JJ was found in a shallow grave there in Chad's backyard. He was bound at the ankles with duct tape, bound at the wrist with duct tape, and with a bag over his head. They actually showed that photo, Kelly, a couple of times in court as recently as yesterday during the closing arguments. You can imagine just how emotional that was. It was awful for people in the gallery to see. I mean, it was probably one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life. I can't even imagine what the jury was thinking having to see that photo. Lori Vallow, throughout the trial, really has remained somewhat emotionless. She cried a couple of days, but yesterday when they showed that photo again, she just sat there emotionless, which was also sort of a shock to see.
Oh my goodness. It's a horrifying story in those details, as you said, Brian. I can't imagine sitting in that room. Thank you for bringing us that insight. We're heading next to criminal defense attorney and legal analyst Jana Spilbor and News Nation legal contributor Jesse Weber. So one, what was the straw, Jesse, I'll start with you, that broke the camel's back, would you say, in this trial?
It's so difficult to say because there's all these little pieces that I think add up. And this is really a circumstantial case, but a totality of the evidence case. When you talk about the things that really stand out and that the jury might have said that crossed the line, it is the hair of Lori Vallow Daybell that was found on the duct tape that was wrapped around JJ's body. We hadn't heard that before. I've been following this case since 2019. This is the first time that I heard it, a piece of direct forensic evidence tying her potentially to the crime. I think the audio recordings, which we mentioned before, yes, her and Chad talking about, the search on his property when the kids were about to be discovered, and there's a lack of alarm in her voice, really nonchalant. The fact that she has these calls with her son, Colby Ryan, her sister, Summer Shiflett, after the bodies are found, they are hysterically crying. And Lori Vallow Daybell, again, in this kind of warped sense, this religious, whatever she was believing, it shows not only no alarm, but is saying you don't understand what happened and is defiant in a way. That, for me, showed consciousness of guilt, or at the very least, a knowledge of what happened. And I would say the text messages, right, between Chad and Lori that came out towards the end of this trial, when you're hearing their communications about death percentages regarding the kids, these communications give the jury an internal view of what Lori Vallow Daybell was thinking, which in murder cases, but also conspiracy cases, when you're trying to see if there was a plan or agreement, those personal communications between the co-conspirators are just huge. So those are the points that I really stood out to me. And I'll be curious after this verdict, if the jurors decide to speak out, if that's something that they focused on as well.
It will be interesting to hear. So, Jana, how will the outcome here impact Chad's case? We know that he's going to be facing his own trial shortly.
Mm-hmm. That is a great question, because one of the things, and when you talk about the straw that broke the camel's back, let's make that plural. The straws that broke the camel's back is that Lori Daybell had an opportunity to throw Chad Daybell clearly under the bus. There was an empty chair. She could have pointed her finger at it. She could have testified to whatever she needed to testify to make sure that he would be found guilty in his trial and she not guilty in hers. And she opted not to do that. So there's not going to be any testimony that he can impeach when he takes the stand in his own case. If he takes a stand in his own case, there's not going to be any testimony there for him to point a finger at to maybe bolster his defense. When his case goes to trial, she remained silent. And I think that probably is going to come back to bite her. And in a sense, it actually will help him. She had the chance with the empty chair. She didn't take it. Not sure why that didn't happen.
Well, the verdict may be coming any moment. So, Jesse, I may have to jump in here if you don't mind, but what is Lori's team telling her while they wait? How are they preparing their client right now, Jesse?
Well, Lori Vallow Daybell is a very different kind of defendant. I'm not sure what those communications are. And to pick up what Jana was saying, there's a part of me that feels Lori told her attorneys, do what you have to do to try to show the prosecution hasn't made their case, but under no circumstances throw Chad under the bus, which I got to tell you, yesterday in those closing arguments, it was a little surprising seeing Jim Archibald, her attorney, essentially calling Chad a loser and saying he was the one who was at the crime scene. So throwing him under the bus, our reporting indicated that Lori wasn't too happy about that. But in a typical case, what they would be saying is we have to prepare for what this verdict is. Don't be, if the verdict comes back and it's guilty, don't show any kind of emotion. Don't say anything because that's good. She's going to appeal this, obviously, if she's convicted. But they are preparing her for what could be the worst. They have to be real with their client about what the evidence was. They may have had a strategy on how to defend her. Maybe she disagreed with that. That's my take. I think that I agree with Jonna. There was probably avenues to really throw Chad and her brother, Alex Cox, under the bus and really put all the blame on them. We didn't see it that much until towards the end of the case. And maybe they said, listen, if this is the route you want to go, you can't be surprised if you're found guilty. And they're just letting her know what the process is going to look like. And if she's found guilty, what's going to happen next? She will be booked, she will be transferred, and I'm sure they're going to have those conversations with her as well.
I want to play one part of the prosecution's closing arguments. It is so disturbing that this is what the jury heard. Let's take a listen to that clip right now, if you don't mind.
If Lori has a plan to kill her kid next week, why go to all the trouble to hire a babysitter? Why bring the babysitter over and introduce her to JJ and the medicines and the routine and the school? Why check JJ into school if you're going to kill your kid next week? Why do that? Because Lori didn't have a plan.
JJ Vallow's voice was silenced forever by a strip of duct tape placed across his mouth. A white plastic bag was placed over his head, where it was secured tightly with duct tape, being wrapped around and around from his forehead to his neck. The evidence shows he struggled, and we'll never know how long he fought before they bound his wrists, his forearms, and his ankles with duct tape.
So we just heard there, the first clip was the defense's closing argument, and then the second clip was, again, the prosecution. When you're faced with sort of a no answer or no response to some of what we just heard, some of those graphic statements, what do you believe? How do you believe that's going to be interpreted by the jury, Jonna?
I think the jury could find that the defense closing argument, at least in that clip, backfires. Because what they could find is, Lori Daybell wasn't just some regular old mom who didn't have a plan to kill her kids. Let's be real. She was a nut job who thought her children were zombies, and she needed to make sure she could get beamed up to the mothership without
She's
any
a nut job.
So if she did the things
Love the
like enroll
wording.
them in school and hire the babysitter and talk about the medication, that is a plan. That is a plan to make it look like you have no plan, to commit the world's worst offense, kill your own kids. If I were the fourth person on that jury, that would be the discussion I would have had back in that jury deliberation.
Oh my God.
Jesse, sometimes when we, in terms of this case, when we're talking about she's been dubbed the cult doomsday mom, that she believed in these extreme things, do you think that may help her case in the sense that maybe people think that she's being led or maybe is mentally disturbed? Or do you think that hurts the case for her?
Well, it all matters what the jury believes, right? It doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what the court of public opinion believes. And from all accounts, this is a jury who really didn't know anything about this. So when we talk about these details and them being exposed to how JJ and Tylee and Tammy were killed, just imagine for a second that this is the first time they're hearing about this. They don't really know about the doomsday cult mom, and they really shouldn't be reading anything about it. Now, having said that, you look at this case and you think to yourself, well, is she just an innocent victim? Was she manipulated? This is not a case of mental health in the traditional sense. There's no insanity defense in Idaho, and there was really no diminished capacity that was argued by her attorneys. So the jury might accept that there is definitely something wrong with her. But what it doesn't change the fact is if she knew what was going to happen to the kids and she was a part of that plot. The reason I say that, and I've mentioned this before, is if you go back to all the instances when she could have come forward, why did she feel the need to lie to law enforcement? Why did she ask her best friend, Melanie Gibb, to lie for her? Why didn't she tell Colby Ryan, her son, in that jailhouse call, the kids are dead, but they're better off? She never admitted it. And the reason for that, and the argument would be, she knew what she did was against the law, and she knew she would get in trouble. Otherwise, she would have admitted it and said, oh, I don't get what's wrong with that. That's something that I always keep remembering during the course of this case. And so as much as mental health, and clearly Lori Vallow Daybell has serious mental health issues. In terms of whether or not she is
I wonder
guilty
if
of
we'll find
conspiracy or
out what
murder
those
or grand theft, I don't think it's
issues
going to play a
are,
factor here for the jury.
because they weren't
That's really
letting
interesting.
it
All right, Jesse.
out.
So, Jonna, will Lori Daybell also stand trial in Arizona on charges in the death of her previous husband, Charles Vallow?
Yeah, another great question. I always look at these cases like, if she is convicted of killing her 2 children, then I don't want to say it becomes less important.
This is the
but
problem.
she's going to
That's
be
probably
sitting
why
in
they
jail
run us
for
all
a very
down.
long time, and maybe that will inspire her to decide to make some sort of plea agreement when and if her appeal, in this case, if it does come to that. I mean, we don't know what the verdict is yet. I'm talking as if I do, but I don't. So I think it's going to depend on what happens here, and then her attorneys can help her decide what to do in any future cases.
So, what do you think, if any, was the most crucial testimony? We heard from so many people. I believe there were 60 on the prosecution side, none on the defense. Was there testimony that jumped out to you, Jesse, that you think will be ringing in these jurors' heads had during these deliberations? We know that a verdict has now been reached.
I can tell you, I don't know if it's from a legal point of view, but there's one area of testimony that's going to stay with me, unfortunately, forever. And I imagine it's going to stay with the jurors forever. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little tough to talk about it, is when we learned about how JJ and Tylee died, right? So we always had ideas about how they died. We had, were they suffocated? Were they shot? Were they strangled? To hear what happened to JJ and Tylee in such excruciating detail, thank goodness that we all didn't see the autopsy photos, and we only heard the audio from the courtroom. But that resonated with me, and it's going to stay with me forever. I've heard a number of different criminal cases. I've been covering them for years. That is some of the worst I've ever heard. And again, as I said, for jurors who really are never exposed to this, these are not lawyers, these are not true crime fanatics, to be exposed to this level of evil and disturbing content, that is what stays with me. That is what I think is going to stay with the jurors. And at the end of the day, they are not supposed to make a decision based on emotion. They are human beings, though. After hearing what happened to these kids, that's going to be a problem.
I appreciate it. We're getting a verdict right now. Let's cut in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
In this case. The judge is not in the courtroom yet.
Here we
Defense
go.
and prosecution, as you can see, are sitting down. We just want to make sure we don't miss this. Prosecution's on the top left. Judge, you can see the top right there. We just want to be sure that we're not missing a verdict here. And we'll give this a little bit more time. You know what, Jesse, with your expertise, what are we waiting on right now?
Okay, so I've seen a number of verdicts before. Sometimes it's just procedural. It's just a little bit of admin. We have to make sure everybody's seated.
Daybell trial. We're waiting on the judge currently. We see all the lawyers, and Lori has been seated. They're all inside the courtroom right now. We're just waiting on the judge. You can see the courtroom very full. Certainly, there are a bunch of people inside the overflow room as well as a ton of media, national and locally, outside the courthouse as well. This has been 6 weeks now of this trial, including jury selection. So 5 weeks of testimony and information that the jury has had to take in, parse through, and decide on.
They're pulling
6
down
different
those
counts
shades
that Lori is facing. Looks like
All rise. District Court's now in session. Honorable Stephen Boyce, Judge presiding.
Oh, Maxie, I had that highlighted. I didn't. Okay.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Here we go. I haven't seen her in a long time.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are going on the record. Court reporter, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is case CR 22-21-1624, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. The matter before the court today is for a verdict in the jury trial that's been conducted over the last several weeks in this case. The court will note on the record, prosecution is here represented by Mr. Wood, Ms. Blake, and Ms. Smith. The defense, Mr. Archibald, Mr. Thomas are present, as well as the defendant who is present. The court's been advised that the jury has reached a verdict at this time. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let's have the jurors brought in, please. While the jurors are being brought in, I'd like to indicate that this matter is being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel. In addition, the court's existing conduct order is in effect, and everyone needs to comply with that conduct order. This verdict has several counts. The court is going to require that all in attendance abstain from any sort of loud outbursts or sounds that could in any way affect the proceedings in this matter as the counts are read in the verdict. And I expect to maintain order and decorum as has been the case throughout this trial with those in attendance. So please keep that in mind.
She was
once we
on
get to this stage
one
of
of
these
the
proceedings.
three.
So with that in mind, if the jurors
There
are
she
ready,
is in the
we'll be
bottom.
seated. All right, please.
Here we go. Here we go. Damn. Lori.
Jury's all present, Your Honor. All right, thank you, Mr. Bailiff. Please be seated.
Whoa. Right?
All right, the court will note that we had alternate jurors that were excused upon deliberations. So now the remaining 12 jurors who have deliberated are here and appear to all be properly seated. Will counsel stipulate that the jury is all present and properly seated from the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will the defense will stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, the court will inquire then from the jury. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah.
Very well. If you have the verdict form, I'd ask the bailiff to bring that over here and we'll have it brought to the clerk to be read.
Oh my God. Lordy, Lordy. Oi. I'm doing that, Shauna. Oh my. Come on. Oh my God.
All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form, find that it's been properly completed, signed and dated. So at this time, I'll direct the clerk to please read the verdict into the record.
Here we go.
The defendant would please rise.
Still got a little bit of arrogant in her.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, defendant, case number CR 211624.
Oh my God.
Verdict.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty.
Woohoo!
Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Answer, guilty. Question number 3.
Dancing.
In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 4.
Damn.
In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty.
Damn.
Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell?
Oh, please.
Answer, guilty.
Oh, nice.
Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
All right, please be seated.
Oh, God.
Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict into the record. At this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the jury will be polled at this time.
Na-na-na-na.
Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and
My
correct
middle
verdict?
thumb is, or sorry, my middle finger
Juror
is
number 5,
waving
is
at
this your
her.
true and correct
Both
verdict?
of them.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Oh, damn.
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict? Juror number 10, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 14,
I'm
is this your
excited.
true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict? Yes. Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict? Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court has
Damn.
found it's a unanimous verdict in this case, so I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record. of
One
this
down,
case.
one to go.
I'll now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also those alternate jurors that are in attendance today. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you want to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone
Damn.
at all.
Good news.
If you choose to talk to someone about the case, you may tell them as much or little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If you decide to discuss the case with anyone, you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors.
Oh my God.
You should limit your comments.
So I'm
to your
sure
own
there will be a
perceptions
press
and
conference
feelings.
after.
If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objections or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report that to me. At this time, then, the court offers its sincere thanks to the jurors. I appreciate your patience and attentiveness throughout this lengthy trial. I also thank you again for upholding your important civic duty as jurors in this case. I'd also like to thank the attorneys who tried this case for your professionalism throughout the proceedings and in the pretrial motions that came before trial. At this time, then, the court will discuss briefly sentencing in this case. In Idaho, pursuant to Title 19, Chapter 25, a report is required to be prepared before sentencing called a pre-sentence investigation report. In a typical case, that report takes at least 2 months to prepare. In a case such as this, it will likely take longer. The court will inquire as to a pre-sentence investigator for the time frame required to prepare the report in this case. Upon getting an estimation, then the court will reach out to counsel for determining a date for sentencing. I'll just advise everyone that will likely be, I'm thinking, at least 3 months probably before that sentencing can be scheduled to have the report completed. The court will also advise at this time then, upon conclusion of the proceedings, the defendant will be remanded back to custody of the Ada County Sheriff at this time to be transferred to the Fremont County Sheriff for further proceedings in Fremont County for sentencing. The court will also instruct the clerk to collect any of the jurors' notes pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 24.1A. At this time, then, the court will ask that the jurors and any alternates in attendance be excused from the courtroom. And I am going to direct that all in attendance here remain seated until such time as the jurors have been completely exited from the courtroom. And in addition, I'll let the jurors know there is additional information you'll be receiving through the court administration offices on your way out as you leave today. So again, thank you for your service. Court will be adjourned. And Mr. Bailiff, if you could have all rise for the jury.
All rise, please.
There it is. After 6 weeks of trial, including jury selection, Lori Vallow Daybell found guilty on absolutely every charge: murder, conspiracy to Tammy Daybell, her ex-husband's late wife. Let's go live down now to outside the Ada County Courthouse. Morgan Romero, Shira Matsuzawa. They have been at the courthouse for absolutely every single day of this trial. Morgan, Shira, what was the
degree murder when it comes to Tammy Daybell, that is the ex-wife of Lori's current husband, Chad Daybell. Chad will be tried separately. There are a lot of twists and turns to this case, to this trial. It has certainly been something to watch. News Nation's Ashley Banfield is standing by. Ashley, you have covered this trial extensively. Talk to me about your reaction here. Guilty on all counts.
So extensively is an understatement. I'm on this for 4 years now. And so I'm shocked. And I will only say I'm shocked because of the across the board, clearing the board. I'm surprised about the Tammy Daybell verdict. I am not surprised about the other verdicts. Although I sat in the Casey Anthony courtroom and had my suppositions handed back to me very, very quickly. So I've always learned, Nicole, that anything can happen. I also covered OJ, and that was another moment, you know, where nobody expected. So today, this was what I thought should happen, given the remarkable amount of evidence, but I could see certain jurors just having a real tough time leaping over a chasm of what beyond reasonable doubt means. The Tammy Daybell, this one is surprising because I did not see much in terms of the conspiracy to her, nor a furtherance in that conspiracy, any act that she took in furtherance to get rid of Tammy Daybell. I have seen a lot of what, you know, she wanted to have happen, but it's not illegal to want someone dead. It's illegal to make someone die. And so that's why I'm a bit surprised. Those are just my thoughts off the top.
All right, Brian Enton, I want to kick it over to you. You're standing there outside of the courtroom, outside of the courthouse there. You've been following this trial closely as well. What's your reaction? Kind of what's the mood out there right now?
Well, I want to give you some information from inside the courtroom. I know that video, it was provided by the court. It was hard to see. It's hard to really see Lori, but we've got a producer inside who says that Lori was totally unaffected when the verdict was read, had an unaffected look on her face. was just staring straight ahead at the jury, but showing absolutely no emotion, which really does not come as a surprise to me because for the most part during the trial, it was like creepy. I mean, there were pictures of her dead kids up on the screen and she was just sitting there staring off into space. So I was wondering maybe this moment will finally hit her during the verdict. Apparently it did not. She sat there with no emotion at all. Another interesting tidbit I've learned that she is not happy with her defense attorneys for the way they did their closing argument. She did not want them to call out Chad, her husband, the cult leader, which just goes back to the point that we've heard so many cult experts say since we've been covering this trial, that she still very much may have been sucked into all of this, may have still believed all this crazy stuff about her kids being zombies. Perhaps that's what she has to continue to cling on to avoid accepting the fact
Guilty
that she
on
played
all
a very big
counts.
part in murdering her own children. I mean,
It was awesome. I was a little surprised, I have to say, when it was Tammy. I am like happier than I'll get out, but that was the one I was just a little worried about. So I'm not sure if they're going to bring on, I'm kind of watching to see if we're going to get a press conference. Amazing day. Amazing. So yeah, I'm just taking a peek here. Let's see.
Disgusting to listen to the testimony for the last 5 weeks. There was a lot of evidence that connected her to the death of her kids, JJ and Tylee. But, it's sad to say absolutely no emotion from her when the verdict was read, Nicole.
And Brian, before I kick it over to defense attorney Richard Block, we do have word that JJ and Tylee's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock, will be speaking at some point,
Nice.
or at least that's what we're being told.
Yeah, we will have that live for you. We're ready to go. We're told they're going to be coming out in about 15 minutes or so
Okay.
To address the media. Obviously, this is going to be a relief for them. I spoke with his grandpa, Larry, this morning. He was upbeat. He was hoping for a verdict yesterday, but he had a good feeling about today. He actually came in with his iPad playing a Willie Nelson song because little JJ loved Willie Nelson. That's what they would listen to together. So he was in good spirits today, but obviously this is just a tremendous relief for them.
Well, Richard Block, I want to introduce you first, defense attorney Richard Block, who's joining this panel with us. What is your reaction to this as a defense attorney? And hearing that Lori apparently is not pleased with her attorneys, obviously a loss for them across the board today. But I have to imagine, did they include her in the strategy? It couldn't have come as a surprise to her, right? What they would say.
Well, first of all, as a loss across the board, I think that while this is a loss on the verdict, don't forget these guys already won. They got the death penalty off the table before the trial already started. They already won from a defense attorney point of view on a case like this. As towards her not knowing the strategy, I've certainly pulled that move before. It sounds like she really prevented them from presenting much of a case, arguing the arguments that they wanted to make, that they thought would be better arguments, stronger arguments, might have gotten them not guilty on some of these charges. And once there was no longer the threat of her testifying and undercutting them, i.e. closing arguments, they got to make whatever closing argument they thought was necessary, and they tried their best.
So yeah, I'll just kind of keep going here and we'll watch. Oh my word, Jasmine, do the happy dance. Yeah, we'll stay and we'll watch the grandparents. I am looking very, very forward to seeing the looks on their faces and send them all my love and prayers. What they've had to go through, and oh my God, did they ever stand up for those kids? Amazing.
In a really tough situation.
Well, Richard, you said something there that really stands out to me, that they got the win by getting the death penalty taken off the table. Is that kind of the best that they could hope for in this case? Because, as Brian just laid out for us, as Ashley just laid out for us night after night on her show, the evidence here really spoke loudly and was really gruesome. So was that kind of the best that they could hope for? Was at least, we'll get the death penalty off the table?
So I wasn't in the courtroom, so it's hard for me to comment on the evidence. I think that would be, inappropriate as an attorney to comment on stuff that you weren't really in there for. But in any death penalty case, that is going to be the first goal of criminal defense attorney. Let's get the death penalty off the table. Death penalty is just a moral travesty and a horrible thing. So getting it off the table is a huge deal and a huge win for your client.
Well, when this verdict came down, I mean, the jury got this case at about 2:15 local time. Ashley, I'll ask you this question. The jury got the case yesterday at about 2:15 local time. By this morning, they had announced that a verdict would be reached because it was supposed to be read at 12:45 local time. That means the verdict would have come in, shortly before noon, if just shortly after noon. What were your thoughts as soon as you heard that a verdict had been reached?
So I always have mixed thoughts about that, I'll be honest. First of all, there's kind of this theory. Good friend of mine in court TV days, Vinnie Politan, had a theorem called Politan's theorem, where it's approximately 1 day of deliberations for every week of trial. We had 5 weeks of trial. So 5 days of deliberations wouldn't have been weird, would have been average. And of course, after Murdoch and OJ and all the other trials we've covered where we've seen quick verdicts, many of us assume quick verdict must be guilty. And then there's OJ, the outlier. So I suppose I felt in my bones there was going to be a verdict today. It might be the Friday girl, because I've just seen so many verdicts on Fridays of juries who don't want to spend the weekend. Yet again, with the same group that they've been with, they might like them because they had to, but they want their lives back after 5 to 6 weeks. So I'm not surprised because I felt the evidence against Lori Vallow was overwhelming. I felt she was despicable. That is not a criminal indictment. I can say this. She was a despicable woman, a despicable woman. The way she behaved with regard to her children merely missing. We know they're dead, right? We know it. But merely missing, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. And she did not give a damn. And she didn't care for anyone else who cared. So for that reason alone, she was despicable and she was fully hated, I am sure, by that jury just for those bad facts alone. And then pile everything else on top. Text messages that she actually had with her brother saying, I'm sure there's a plan to eliminate them. It'll be communicated to you soon. Sorry, to me, that spells conspiracy with a capital C, C word.
And let's talk.
Hey.
going to be too big for everybody? Okay. Are you getting ready? Can you see that one? Mike, check, check, check. Is it good? Is it good from here? Is it good? Yeah. This one doesn't. Shit. Sorry.
Bent.
It like has a very low signal on it.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Best
12.
possible outcome, guys. I'm just stoked. Yeah, I like to see you next Tuesday. That is awesome. I like it. I like it. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine how these grandparents, oh, I mean, oh, what has happened here is, oh my God. They fought hard right from the very, very beginning. They set the alarm that the kids were not seen.
No. I don't see any.
Chased after this. I couldn't be
See if
happier.
there's like another news reporter. Or
Oh my goodness. That was a verdict that gave me the chills. Pretty damn exciting. Finally. I mean, those two ran. Man, did they run. You'd think that with everything that they could do, that they would have like invisibility powers. What the hell? So we've had a good, what? A good week and a good week. Lori, gone. Letitia, gone. Ugh. We've had great judges as well. They sure seem to be super strong people. I mean, it's amazing what love can do, and they loved those kids. Yeah, my love and admiration. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Yay! Oh no, don't do that to myself. What the hell? Oh my goodness. Tears. Nice. Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness.
Gloria came to you today.
Oh my word. Oh, here we go.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Oh
Thank
my
y'all.
goodness.
Thank y'all. For one time in my life, I'm kind of lost at words.
Mhm.
Look, first of all, I want to thank 18 jurors. I cannot thank them enough. I'm sure everybody has paid attention in court.
Speak it, get her here closer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure everyone has paid attention in court. I want to personally thank and I want to personally hug every one of those jurors. What they went through, what they saw is mind-boggling. I hope that nobody ever has to go through this. I hope nobody ever has to see and hear the details of what happened to JJ,
Oh my goodness.
to Tylee, and to Tammy. Guys, we got 2 more trials. 2 more.
3. Charles, Chad. Chad and Brandon.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well,
Charles
okay.
is in Arizona.
Yeah.
Brandon's in Arizona.
The next trial is Chad. I look forward to being back in this courthouse again. If that happens, I hope everybody is here again.
Oh no, who's
hope
got a
that
tornado watch?
Y'all appreciate so much the court system, how meticulous the prosecution was.
Yeah.
I think everybody will agree it was amazing job by all of them.
Yep.
And I want y'all to know that even the defense, I shook their hands.
Good job.
I have said many times, I want a fair, honest, and righteous decision. I think we had 18 jurors that all deserve our appreciation, our love, and they gave an honest, fair, and righteous verdict.
You guys really embraced each other in there at the reading of the verdict. What did you say to each other in that moment?
I love you.
Aw.
What else can you say?
Larry, what was it like walking out, seeing all the law enforcement officers in the hallway?
Do what?
What was it like walking out, seeing all of the law enforcement officers who have spent countless hours in the
Oh,
hallway?
I know. We would be
And-
nowhere without them.
You know, as much as I have said here about the prosecution, the defense, the jurors, Nate, you made an absolute great statement. We have to appreciate, support our law enforcement officials. Those guys sacrificed from their families, from their homes, We will never know the countless hours that they have put in, how much sacrifice they have gone through, and most of all, what they have seen in this case that maybe some people will never unsee. I love them. I appreciate them. There's not one of these guys I wouldn't go in a dark alley with. I cannot thank them enough. Next question.
Larry, what is your final message to Lori Vallow?
Kiss my ass.
My final message to Lori.
We got
All
you.
ready? Turn out the lights.
Oh.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Lori, it ended.
Oh, I love this guy.
Hey, what about you? How are you feeling today? Can you tell us what it was like? Your thoughts?
Can I have a minute?
Oh my goodness.
We are elated with this. There was some doubt we would get all of them, all guilties, but we did it. Our
right, Jazz?
prosecution
Oh my
is
word.
amazing. The law enforcement is amazing. They became our family, and we're keeping most of them for the rest of our life as family. And even you news people, we've made great friends with you guys, and journalists. Oh, and news journalists. Anyway, it's great.
Oh my word.
Our JJ now, maybe we can get him and put him to rest, as well as Tylee, and do right by them, and we'll see how that works. But anyway, we're so grateful, and we thank all of y'all for your support, and we would never be here without y'all. And so many people have reached out to us, and I mean, I have to tell y'all, we even got a message from someone in Tasmania that is following this case. So it's all over the world, and we appreciate all of you, and thank you, and God bless America, because we're grateful we live here. Thank you. Love always wins.
Oh, love always wins.
Love always wins. How many times we heard that?
Oh.
I do have one other statement I'd like to make, believe it or not. I do. I forgot one of the most important things.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Ray, what would I do without you?
Oh my God.
I have one more
I'm
statement.
crying.
JJ, I love you.
Oh. Oh.
Papa.
Oh. Yep.
Papa, wish you were here.
Oh my God.
In other circumstances.
Oh my God.
Tylee, Papa loves you.
Oh my God.
Tammy, I never met you. Tammy, you are part of our life.
Oh.
Tammy, I am sorry for what happened to you. My heart hurts.
Mm-hmm.
My heart hurts for these three. This is what this has been all about.
Oh my goodness.
From the very get-go. It started with 2 children missing. And I stood up and I said, where are the children? Where are the children?
Oh my word.
Where are the children? Give us back our children.
Yep.
We're not ending this. This is not the end of this. 90 days from today, we will probably meet in Fremont County.
the sentence will be handed down. And I'm going to say right now what I'm going to say in 3 months. Why, Lori?
Yeah.
Why, Lori?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why?
Power, sex, and greed.
Power, sex, and greed. For what? For what? Power, sex, and greed. That's all it was.
Oh my God.
And JJ, Papa misses you. I miss you.
Mm.
Maybe we can take them home.
Okay, I have one more
Thank
question
you.
for you, okay? Can you just talk
Okay,
about the mix of emotions?
get somebody in that's pretty.
Look, here, real quick.
They got the bitch.
My brother Jerry.
That's all I got to say about it.
All right, we just heard a reaction there from the grandparents of JJ Vallow, Lori Vallow's youngest son, reacting to today's verdict. The jury coming back announcing that they had in fact found Lori Vallow guilty on all 6 counts she was facing. That includes the 2 counts of first-degree murder of her 2 youngest children, Tylee and JJ. And Larry Woodcock, first coming to the microphone, thanking jurors, at times getting emotional, at one point saying, "Lori, it ended." We will continue to monitor this.
So I'm wondering if we are going to have a press conference from the state.
We will have analysis from Ashley Banfield and Brian Inton after the break. We'll be right back.
Oh my goodness. Oh, whoa, eh? Unreal. So I'm going to take a quick look here and see if there's any news on a press conference. And if it's shortly, then we will, I'll stick around for that too. Oh, that was emotional. Oh my word. Oh my goodness gracious. Two. How emotional was that? Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything right now, guys. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was a tearjerker. Oh, my goodness. What the hell? The grandparents did a phenomenal job. I will say that, like, just phenomenal. I hope that they can sleep well tonight because that has been an emotional, it's years, 3, 4 years now. 3? I'm not sure what's happening here. I'll put it on and see.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, they're not talking at all. What was that, the defense? My camera's bigger than your camera.
Lisa, that feel awesome. Let's go. Yeah.
So that was Nate.
Wait, let's go to again.
Let's follow Nate.
Anything you guys want to say to people in Eastern Idaho right now? We're excited about coming home. How's that? Yeah, how many weeks you been here? Since March 23rd. March 23rd. Good feeling today? You gonna party? You gonna have pizza?
Oh.
The minimum pizza. All right. They still can't really talk about the case because of Chad Daybell's trial. But they've got to be feeling a moment of pride there. Those are the guys that helped solve this crime.
Nice. So I guess there probably won't be a press conference by the sounds of things, but that does make sense. I mean, they've still got Chad to deal with. So, wow. I am going to jump off, try and absorb this a little bit. That was amazing. I'm not finding anything else. I think that we pretty much, we were able to cover it, which is awesome. I want to thank all you guys for joining me. That was great. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to be looking. I've been sick for a couple of days here, so I haven't been doing a whole lot, but feeling a lot better. So I might put out something later. Oh, thank you. I always forget that. If you guys enjoyed the content, please hit subscribe, like, share it. I totally appreciate it. Thank you for reminding me, Shauna. Yeah, the replay crew. Yeah, it's been a winning week. Absolutely. If there is a winner in these cases, you know what? These kids are getting justice, and that's a win. That's a win. Ma and Pa spoke. Oh, thanks for joining me. So guys, I'm going to pop off, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.